They told everyone I gave up, that I chose smallness. Settled. They whispered about me in break rooms, smirks folded behind coffee mugs. They said she had potential, such a waste, but they never saw the quiet hours. The screens that glowed past midnight. The notebooks filled with maps no one else could read. They rewrote my story before I had a chance to live it. I let them. For a while. It wasn't failure. It was something bigger, just not visible yet. And the silence they mistook for defeat was actually the sound of something being born.
Now?
They walk past newsstands and freeze. My name. My face.
My work.
Exactly where they said I'd never be. I'm Ava. I'm 29. I live in Chicago. And this is how I became the name behind the headline. I was always the promising one. Honor roll. Debate champion. President of the student council. Everyone had a plan for me before I even knew what I wanted. Law school. Corporate ladder. Corner office. I nodded along. Smiled at every graduation dinner speech that ended with, "She's going to make us so proud." And for a while I played the part. Double majored. Interned in DC. Got hired at one of those sleek high-rises where the windows stretch taller than your ambition. But behind the polished shoes and tight schedules, I felt like a ghost in my own life. Burnout didn't hit all at once. It was quiet, like a slow leak in a tire. By the time I noticed, I was too flat to keep going. I left that job. Took what I thought would be a temporary break. 1 month turned into 6. 6 turned into 2 years. My family stopped asking questions. My mom would just say, "She's figuring things out," if anyone asked. My uncle once whispered at dinner, "We don't talk about that anymore." They thought I was drifting. But I wasn't lost. I was relearning how to breathe. Eventually, I took a desk job at a mid-sized marketing firm. Nothing glamorous, just emails, calls, spreadsheets. To them, it looked like the final downgrade. But behind that desk, with the hum of the office and no eyes on me, I began building something. Something only I could see. The job was quiet. Answering emails. Organizing client folders. Nothing thrilling. Just structure. Just peace. After the chaos I'd left behind, it felt like a soft landing. But even soft landings can start to feel like cages. Every day during my lunch break, I'd sit by the window in the back corner of the office, tapping away at my personal laptop. Nothing serious. Just little ideas. Notes. At first, it was a simple spreadsheet I made for myself, something to help freelancers track their money. I posted it in a small online group, just to be helpful. Someone messaged me, "Hey, can I share this with my team?" Then someone else asked, "Do you have a version that auto-calculates tax?" I didn't realize it then, but something had started. Slow. Invisible.
Real.
One day, Ruth, a senior staffer with silver hair and warm eyes, peeked over my shoulder. "You always typing something at lunch," she said. I laughed nervously. "Just a little side project." She tilted her head. "I had a side project once. Ran it for 18 years before selling it. Made more than this place ever paid me." She smiled like she knew something I didn't. And then she walked away. After that, I stopped hiding it. I built the website. Simple, free templates.
Guides.
Budget trackers. I called it Desk Bloom. It was still small, still quiet. But people started subscribing. A mom in Texas emailed me, "Your spreadsheet helped my daughter finally save enough to move out." Then there was the message from someone named Leo. My wife cried when she realized she wasn't bad with money, just never had the right tools. Thank you. It didn't make headlines, but it mattered. Desk Bloom wasn't flashy. It didn't have sleek venture capital backing or a viral launch, but it grew. I watched the numbers shift like tides. 50 subscribers became 500, then 5,000. I updated the spreadsheets, added budgeting templates for different professions, teachers, freelancers, even retirees. By the end of year 2, we were onboarding nearly 1,200 new users per month. Our open rate? 78%. Higher than some Fortune 500 newsletters. I brought on a friend, Tanya, to help with content. Then a developer from my old college reached out, and offered to rebuild the site for free. He said, "I've been following your work. My sister's debt-free because of your tools." I never had a marketing team, just word of mouth. Real people, real relief. That was the magic. And yet no one around me seemed to notice. At family gatherings, I was still the girl with the desk job. My cousin once joked, "So you're like a professional emailer now?" Someone else chimed in, "Teaching old folks to click buttons? Real noble work." I smiled, pretended to laugh, but it stung. At the office, it was worse. My coworkers saw me as background noise, a dependable pair of hands. Nothing more. During lunch breaks, while I was drafting guides that would reach thousands, I'd hear whispers. What's she always typing? Probably journaling about her cats. They didn't know I was closing partnerships with small banks, or that a community college in Oregon had requested a bulk license of our templates for an entire semester. They didn't see the messages I got daily from strangers whose lives were changing in quiet, invisible ways. And I didn't try to convince them. I didn't post the wins. I didn't share the links. Not because I was ashamed, but because I didn't need their approval to build something sacred. Still, deep down, a part of me wished someone close to me would notice, would care, would say, "I see you." But they didn't.
Not yet.
It happened on a rainy Thursday. One of those gray Chicago mornings where the sky hangs low and the air feels like wet cement. I was standing in line at a small cafe near my office. Hood up, earbuds in, mind somewhere else. Behind me, a man and a woman were talking softly, laughing. I wasn't listening until I heard one word, desk bloom. My spine straightened. I turned the volume down, heart suddenly loud in my chest. The woman said, "No, seriously, it saved our engagement. Leo's mom was in so much debt and she didn't want to tell him. We thought we were going to have to cancel the wedding." The man, Leo, I realized, chuckled softly. Then someone sent us this link, Desk Bloom. And it was like magic. She finally understood how to handle things. The woman added. She cried. She said, "I feel like I have control again." And the best part? It wasn't some flashy influencer selling dreams. It felt human. I turned around. They were in their late 20s. She wore a soft gray coat and had tear-smudged eyeliner. He looked tired but calm, like someone who'd just finished climbing a hard hill. I blinked, opened my mouth, closed it again. Then she said, "I wish I could meet the person who made it." My hands trembled as I stepped forward. "Hi," I said quietly. I'm Ava. I built Desk Bloom." They both froze. The silence stretched between us, long enough for my self-doubt to start creeping in again. Then Leo smiled.
Wide. Honest.
"Wait, you? No way. You're the founder?" I nodded. "I started it 3 years ago. Just a side thing." The woman's eyes welled up. She reached out and touched my arm. "Do you have any idea what you've done for people like her? For people like us?"
I didn't know what to say.
We stood there, 3 strangers holding something unspoken in the air. They asked if they could hug me. I said yes. In that small cafe, with the sound of espresso machines and distant rain, I felt seen. Not by the ones I begged silently to notice, but by the ones who were changed by what I did. Later that day, I walked into the office. Same squeaky door. Same buzzing lights. Same dismissive glances. But I carried something different inside me. A story someone else told about me without even knowing it was mine. Not because I demanded attention, but because the truth walked in by itself and refused to stay quiet. Something shifted after that day. Not on the outside. My job title stayed the same. My family still didn't ask about my little project. But I was different. A week later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just a folded card with a pressed flower taped inside. The handwriting was unmistakable. My mom's. It said, "I saw your name in something. I didn't understand it all, but I'm proud of you. I always was. Just didn't know how to say it." I didn't frame the card. Didn't post it online. I just kept it in the drawer beside my bed. My brother, who used to call me the dreamer, sent me a one-word text on the day my story hit the cover of Forbes. Respect. That was all. But I felt it. It was real. Coworkers started whispering different things. Not, "What's she always typing?"
But
"Did you hear? She's the one behind that finance platform everyone's talking about." I didn't correct them. Didn't explain. I just smiled, finished my coffee, and went back to building. I no longer needed anyone to clap. No applause. No validation. Because I knew, deeply, that it was never about being seen. It was about seeing myself. It wasn't pride. It was peace. And that peace? It was louder than their laughter had ever been. If you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever worked in silence, hoping someone might finally say, "I see you," then this story is for you. Because you're not alone. Maybe they laughed. Maybe they dismissed you, rewrote your narrative, or told your story before you had the chance to write it. But here's the truth. Your work matters. Your voice matters. And even if no one claps now, the impact is echoing somewhere you can't yet see. Where are you watching from? Tell me your story. Someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe they're waiting for your quiet victory to give them permission to believe in theirs. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And if you stay with me, I promise to keep bringing you stories that remind you. You were never small. You were simply building something big in silence.